Listen, sometimes the space between two people becomes a testing ground. It's not about manipulation or games. It's about the raw, unfiltered truth of what resides within. Think of it like this. You plant a seed, but sometimes you need to step back and let the soil do its work. You can't keep digging it up to see if it's growing. You have to trust the process. Trust the inherent life within that seed. And sometimes in that period of quiet, of no contact, a man might just find his way back. Not because you chased him, not because you pleaded, but because something shifted within him. Maybe he finally heard the echoes of your absence in the chambers of his own heart. Maybe the world he built without you started to feel a little less vibrant, a little less real. This isn't a guarantee, understand that, but it is a possibility rooted in the intricate dance of human connection. It's about the lessons learned in the silence, the reflections that dawn in the solitude, and the undeniable pull of something genuine that might have been underestimated. It's in that space that a man can truly confront what he's lost, what he values, and what he ultimately desires. Consider the quiet that descends when a familiar melody stops playing. That's akin to the initial impact of your absence. It's not just the lack of your physical presence, but the sudden stillness in the previously shared spaces of his life. Perhaps it was the daily good morning text, the impromptu phone calls during his commute, or even the comfortable silence you shared while simply being in the same room. These seemingly small rituals, the consistent threads woven into the fabric of his day, suddenly unravel, leaving frayed edges and an unexpected emptiness. The rhythm he had grown accustomed to, the subtle cues and interactions that punctuated his hours are now conspicuously absent, creating a void where your presence once naturally resided. Beyond the change in routine, your absence creates a vacuum of specific interactions and shared experiences that were unique to your connection. Think of the inside jokes that only you two understood, the specific way you would react to certain situations, or the shared passions that fueled your conversations and activities. These weren't generic interactions. They were tailored to the unique dynamic you cultivated together. Now, when a situation arises that would have elicited a knowing glance from you, or when he encounters something related to a shared interest, there's no one to turn to with that specific expectation of understanding or shared delight. That particular brand of connection, the comfortable familiarity and effortless understanding, is gone. And its absence resonates in the moments he once took for granted. Furthermore, your absence can create a significant emotional vacuum. Perhaps you were his confidant, the person he turned to for advice, or simply to vent after a long day. Maybe you provided a sense of comfort and security, a safe space where he could be vulnerable without judgment. The loss of that emotional anchor, that consistent source of support and understanding, can be profoundly felt. He might find himself navigating challenges or processing emotions without the familiar sounding board of your empathy and perspective. This absence of emotional intimacy can be a stark reminder of the unique role you played in his emotional landscape. It's not just about what you did, but also about the inherent influence you had on his life, often in subtle, unconscious ways. Your perspective, your values, your very presence likely shaped his decisions, his outlook, and even his sense of self to some degree. In your absence, he might start to notice the impact of your perspective missing from his thought processes. He might find himself making decisions or approaching situations differently, perhaps realizing the value of the insights you previously offered or the way you challenged him to think. This realization of your subtle yet significant influence can contribute to a growing awareness of the void your absence has created. Ultimately, the vacuum of your absence often forces a confrontation with what was previously taken for granted. The ease of your companionship, the consistency of your support, the simple pleasure of your presence, these are things that can be easily overlooked when they are consistently available. It's in the stark contrast of their absence that their true value becomes apparent. He might begin to recognize the depth of your contribution to his life, the richness you brought to his experiences, and the unique way you complemented his being. This dawning awareness of what was lost, the tangible and intangible aspects of your presence, forms the core of the vacuum that can lead a man to consider returning. The initial period after no contact might be marked by a sense of detachment, perhaps even relief. The absence of conflict, the cessation of difficult conversations, or the simple freedom from the perceived burdens of the relationship can create a temporary illusion of peace. This phase, however, is often a superficial calm before the deeper implications of the separation begin to surface. It's like the immediate stillness after a storm, where the initial feeling is one of reprieve before the assessment of the true damage begins. During this initial period, the realization of loss might be more of an intellectual understanding than a deeply felt emotion. As time passes and the routines of life settle into a new normal, the absence of the other person starts to become more palpable. It's no longer just about the cessation of previous interactions, but the lack of their presence in the everyday moments. There might be an empty seat at the dinner table, a movie neither of you can enjoy with the same enthusiasm alone, or a funny anecdote that lacks its intended recipient. These small, seemingly insignificant moments accumulate, gradually painting a clearer picture of the void left behind. The realization of loss begins to shift from a distant concept to a tangible reality experienced in the fabric of daily life. Specific situations or events can often act as catalysts for a deeper realization of loss. Perhaps a shared friend mentions an experience you both would have enjoyed, triggering a pang of longing. Or maybe a significant personal achievement occurs, and the immediate instinct to share the news with you is met with the stark reality of the no contact. These moments highlight the interwoven nature of your lives and underscore the absence of a person who was once an integral part of these experiences. The realization becomes sharper, more focused, tied to concrete instances that underscore what is missing. This growing awareness of the void and the impact of the absence often leads to a process of emotional processing. Regret might begin to surface. Regret for words spoken in haste, for opportunities missed, or for not appreciating the relationship while it lasted. Sadness can accompany the realization of lost potential, the dreams and plans that were once shared but now lie dormant. This emotional reckoning is a crucial stage in truly understanding the magnitude of the loss, moving beyond the initial detachment into a deeper appreciation of what the relationship meant. Finally, the realization of loss is often amplified by the contrast between the present absence and the memories of the past relationship. As time goes on, fond memories tend to resurface, often eclipsing the conflicts or difficulties that may have led to the separation. These nostalgic recollections highlight the positive aspects of the connection, the joy, the laughter, and the support that were once freely given and received. This juxtaposition of a perhaps less fulfilling present with a remembered, cherished past can intensify the feeling of loss and lead to a profound understanding of what has been truly missed. The cessation of contact can inadvertently create a sanctuary for introspection. Removed from the immediate dynamics and potential pressures of the relationship, a man gains the space to turn his attention inward. The constant back and forth, the need for compromise and negotiation, the daily maintenance of a partnership, all of this fades into the background, allowing for a period of focused self-assessment. This isn't necessarily a deliberate act at first, but rather a natural consequence of the quietude, a chance to hear his own thoughts without the immediate feedback or influence of another. This newfound solitude offers a valuable opportunity to reassess personal values and priorities. Within a relationship, these can sometimes become intertwined with the partner's or even subconsciously adjusted to maintain harmony. But in the absence of that external influence, a man can more clearly define what truly matters to him as an individual. He might reflect on his goals, his beliefs, and his long-term aspirations, evaluating them independently of the relationship's trajectory. This can lead to a renewed understanding of himself and what he seeks in life, providing a clearer internal compass. Furthermore, the period of independent reflection can often lead to the identification of personal shortcomings or mistakes made within the relationship. Without the emotional immediacy of ongoing interactions, it becomes easier to objectively examine past behaviors and communication patterns. He might recognize instances where he fell short as a partner, where he could have communicated more effectively, or where his actions contributed to the relationship's challenges. This self-awareness, while potentially uncomfortable, is a crucial step towards personal growth and a more nuanced understanding of relationship dynamics. This introspective journey also provides the space to truly consider what he desires and needs in a partner and a relationship moving forward. Stripped of the familiarity and comfort of the previous relationship, he might gain a fresh perspective on his own needs for connection, support, and companionship. He might realize certain qualities he valued or missed in the previous dynamic. This period of contemplation can help him articulate his ideal partnership more clearly, guiding his future choices and potentially leading him back to a relationship where those needs were or could be met. Ultimately, this independent reflection can be a catalyst for significant personal growth. By stepping away and examining his own thoughts, feelings, and behaviors in isolation, a man has the potential to emerge with a deeper understanding of himself and his role in relationships. He might develop greater emotional intelligence, learn more effective communication skills, or simply gain a more mature perspective on partnership. This internal evolution, born from the quiet space of no contact, can be a powerful factor influencing a potential return, driven by a genuine desire for a healthier and more fulfilling connection. Stepping away from the daily interactions and emotional entanglement of a relationship can offer a crucial vantage point, the ability to see things with a newfound clarity. When caught in the midst of daily life with someone, it's easy to get bogged down in the minutiae, the small arguments, and the immediate emotional responses. Distance provides a buffer, allowing the intensity of these moments to subside, like the receding tide revealing the shapes of the seabed. From this removed perspective, the bigger picture of the relationship's dynamics can begin to emerge. Unclouded by the immediate emotional heat, this distance often illuminates patterns and issues that were previously obscured by the closeness of the connection. Habits or communication styles that were once simply accepted or perhaps mildly irritating can become more clearly defined as problematic when viewed from afar. The space allows for an objective look at the recurring arguments, the underlying tensions that might have contributed to the relationship's challenges. It's like stepping back from a painting to appreciate the overall composition and notice details that were missed when standing too close. This clarity can be instrumental in understanding the fundamental issues at play. The experience of being alone after a significant relationship also provides a unique point of comparison. By experiencing life without the presence of the other person, a man can gain a clearer understanding of how the relationship truly fit into his overall well-being. He might realize aspects of his life that flourished in the absence of the relationship, or conversely, areas where he deeply misses the connection and support it provided. This contrast between the past reality of the relationship and the present reality of being apart can offer valuable insights into its true impact and significance in his life. Moreover, distance facilitates a more objective assessment of each individual's contributions and shortcomings within the relationship. When still actively involved, it can be easy to fall into patterns of blame or to have a skewed perception of one's own role in the dynamic. However, with the emotional distance that no contact provides, a more balanced perspective can develop. A man might be able to acknowledge his own mistakes or areas where he could have been a better partner, just as he might gain a clearer understanding of the other person's contributions and limitations. And then there is a new aspect of relationship with oneself that may be more important than ever. However, with the emotional distance that no contact provides, a man might be able to acknowledge this objective evaluation can lead to a more realistic understanding of the relationship's strengths and weaknesses. Ultimately, the clarity that emerges from distance can reveal the true value of the past connection. By stepping away from the everyday, comparing the experience of being apart, and objectively assessing the dynamics, a man can gain a deeper understanding of what the relationship truly meant to him. He might realize the unique qualities his former partner brought to his life, the depth of their connection, and the significance of the shared experiences. This clarity, born from the space created by no contact, can be a powerful catalyst for recognizing what was lost and potentially motivating a desire to reconnect. Initially, there might be an unspoken expectation, perhaps even a subconscious assumption, that after a period of no contact, one party will eventually reach out. This expectation can be rooted in past patterns of communication or a general understanding of how relationships tend to operate. Therefore, when the anticipated contact doesn't materialize, it can create a sense of surprise and even a touch of bewilderment. This unexpected silence can pique curiosity, leading to questions about the other person's well-being, their thoughts, and their activities. The lack of the expected response can be the first spark that ignites the allure of the unknown. As the no contact period continues and it becomes apparent that the other person is not actively seeking to reconnect, a subtle but significant shift in the dynamic can occur. The person who might have initially expected to be pursued might now find themselves in a position where they are unsure of the other's feelings or intentions. This uncertainty can be unsettling, especially if they were accustomed to being the one who held more control in the dynamic. The perceived shift in power, where the other person seems content or at least resilient in their silence, can generate a new kind of interest, driven by the unknown nature of their current state. Human nature often lends itself to curiosity about what others are doing, especially those with whom we have shared a significant connection. So, when there is no contact, this natural inquisitiveness can amplify. The mind might start to fill in the blanks, wondering about their social life, their new hobbies, or even the possibility of them meeting someone new. The absence of readily available information fuels speculation and can create a sense of mystery surrounding their life. This intrigue can be a powerful motivator, prompting a desire to understand what the other person is experiencing in their independent existence.